business, growth, innovation, and resilience. I am Pranav Akshay, your MC from BCom General Shift 2.
Yeah, it's on.
As we all know, change is the only constant. Every businessman would have endured failures, struggles, and hardships in his journey, resulting in who he is today. Let's take a deeper dive on business growth and transformation. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Manas Kumar Sir, a L&D and educational specialist, executive and business coach from the Ministry of Education of UAE. I also welcome the faculties, participants, and
as the foundation, sir. Manas is dedicated in promoting the peace and the positive change on a global scale. He hosts a popular podcast, Expert Insights with Manas Kumar, and moderators for various panel of talks, and as a TV presenter, showcasing his expertise and knowledgeable person with a good leadership. As a founding member of the World Metaverse Council, Manas contributed to the development of the metaverses community in the UAE. With the honors and the awards from the prestigious institution, Manas is recognized as a life coach, entrepreneur, educator, and an influencer. His mission to empower individuals and businesses, inspiring them to unlock their full potentials and make an everlasting impact in the world. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. And today I'm very glad to be here to present the topic today. And I would like to thanks to PG Department of Commerce for inviting me for this such a wonderful workshop where I can share my knowledge and expertise. Before starting, just I have a one simple question. Like this workshop is about redefining the business, right? So what do you mean by that exactly? How we are going to redefine the business? So this is very basic question I have, and I have gone through the YouTube live session just before starting my session right now. So I saw many panel members. They already talk about the AI, machine learning, also the new technologies. So there are, many innovations are happening every day, and we keep adapting to the technology. And because this is something which we have to do, because if we want to sustain in the competitive environment, right? So my question basically about redefining the business and how we can do that. There is a very simple answer to this question. Just to redefine a business, you need to reinvent the business strategy in an innovative way, right? And how we are going to do that again, there is another question. So always remember, when you are trying to innovate something or you want to be something creative, there is always just simple answer. What is the simple answer? It's all again another question. So if you know how to answer, like defining a proper question, like I will give you one example. Suppose you know what is your goal, what you want to achieve, what is your target, then only you can make your path clear, and then you can proceed step by step. But for this reason, you need to ask the right kind of questions, like what is my goal, what do I want to achieve, and how I'm going to achieve this. So when there is innovation, we are talking about, there is just a simple right question. So you need to know how to ask the right question. What is the exact parameter I want to set for my achievement of goals and all those things. But today in our workshop, or especially in the training session, or I can say the keynote, I will be talking about using the first principle. Okay, and this first principle is nothing new. It's already there, and many business individuals, they are already using this first principle methods and thinking strategy, and I will be talking more about that. So let's get started with the topic. So I will be sharing my screen. Hello.
Sorry, sir. Due to network issues, we weren't able to hear your last few sentences. Could you repeat it, sir?
Oh, now can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, I just share my slides. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So today our topic is about first principle thinking for business and innovation. So as I already told you and already mentioned that for every innovation and creativity, there is just a simple thing you need to understand what kind of right question you need to ask. For example, if you want to create like EV vehicles, and people are saying EV vehicles to manufacture it's very expensive. And why it is expensive? This is the main question you need to understand. I want to create EV vehicles, but my question should be why it is expensive? First thing. Second question should be like what are the particular parameters or the key thing which makes it more expensive? If I understand the pinpoint or the problem or the basic problem within my total main goal that I want to achieve, then only I can plan my strategy to solve this problem and solve this issue, and then I can use the method which is called fast principle thinking method. So now basically we are going to talk about how to ask right kind of questions by using fast principle thinking strategy compared to our traditional one. And I will be sharing you about the traditional method which is also known as agile methods, where many software industries they are using this agile concept, and it's also very successful because you already have predefined methods and strategies and framework which we need to follow, which already worked previously and past cases. And in some industries they are really doing great, but in sometimes what happens, you are stuck with the same strategy you are keep following for every type of project. And sometimes it's not good if you really want to innovate something new, or if you want to be creative and stay within the competitive zone and want to be different from others, then you have to create something innovative product. So fast principle thinking gives you this opportunity. So let's get into the topic. Like, as I told you, what do you understand by fast principle thinking? It's just a basic way of breaking down a complex problem. Suppose if you have a problem, you know how to deal with this problem, then you just need to do the first step to break down the problem into very small fragments. Okay, like keeping the problem as a main goal to achieve, but then you have to break it down in shorter components where you need to find the solution for each of the shorter components that you have, and then you can proceed with the plan. You can use agile or you can use waterfall, any of the strategy method depending on the type of project. Okay, so this is something now predefined concept which is already there, used by many business professionals, and we will be talking about Elon Musk's case studies, Amazon case studies. So let's get into the topic, and we will know what is fast principle thinking. So basically, it's a method of problem solving that involves breaking down the complex problem into their basic components and then restructuring the solution based on the fundamental things. Okay, so this approach fosters creativity and questioning, and also it will help you to innovate. So when there is a problem, there is a chance or there is an opportunity to innovate. So always remember, problem leads to the solution. But if you know what kind of problem you're facing and what kind of right questions you need to ask to solve this problem, then there is a chance for innovation and creativity. And this first principle strategy will teach you how to do that. And today's workshop, we are going to understand the basic idea about the first principles thinking versus traditional thinking. And also, I will talk about how you can use it, implement this. But to use this strategy, you need to understand the basic idea about this principle and thinking. So, this is basically what you understand by first principle thinking. Now, let's talk about some core questions. Now, I have a problem. Okay. I have a big issue which is happening. My company is not growing. My company is facing difficulties. My business is getting down. I am having so many competitions in the same business environment. So these are the problems I'm facing right now. So how I'm going to solve it? Okay. So my strategy, I approached one expert and I asked him, and he gave me idea. Okay, if you're having problem, just use the first principle thinking. Now I stuck again. What do you mean by first principle thinking? How I'm going to tackle this problem? If I have idea about the first principle thinking, then I can do that. No, it's not. The point here, again, you need to understand very basic thing. What should be my right question? What kind of question I need to ask to solve this issue? Okay, so the first principle thinking also have some core questions. What do you know about this absolutely true about that particular complex problem that you are addressing? And the second one, what are the fundamental building blocks of the problem? Like, again, let's take another example. Okay, there is a restaurant. Okay, and this particular restaurant is facing huge problems with dealing with the clients, and they want to ease the process. Okay, dealing with the clients means, for example, there are many number of customers and they want more customers to join, but the process is not organized. They are not having proper pattern to address each of the customer on their restaurant, and they are not having proper set of what is this called seating plans. So now they are facing this problem. But now the point is how they are going to solve it. Okay. Now the question is not about solving the problem to deal with the client. The question is about what exactly the problem the customers are facing. Always remember, when you are having a business, it should be customer centric. Okay, you have to solve the problems of the customer. Then only you can grow as a business person. Otherwise, it will be difficult to sustain. So, first question you should ask yourself, like, how I am going to solve the problem of the customer. Second, you have to understand what exactly the problem. Is it because of the seating plan, or is it because of there is no space? Is it because there are a lot of customers there coming and it create a mess inside the restaurant? What is that problem? What exactly the problem? If you understand that one, suppose for example the problem is about the seating plan, right? So there are many people but there are no proper space. So if you know that is the problem, you can solve it. So what you did exactly, you have a bigger picture, bigger problem that is the customer management problem. But you then identify the smaller starting point or the main issue which is happening. Then what you did, you try to solve this particular space issue. Find out there is an issue with the space. So what is the next step? You will solve. You will have more extra space. You will create another space for sitting plan. So in this way, what you did exactly, you break down the total main problem into small fragments, small components, and then you try to restructure it. And after that, you try to find the solution for the small problem. And in this way, what you are doing, you are combining each of the small components again by restructuring it with the solution. And in this process, you can either use the same strategy which is already there, agile method, which is called iterative method, like you keep adding increment each and every steps, and in that way you can solve this big problem with the small components. And this is actually the basic idea about the first principle thinking. This is what exactly we are going to do in the first principle. Okay. So identify the absolute truth or the problems or the main issue or the complex problem that you have. Deconstruct. Deconstruct the problem to break down into the smaller components and then reconstruct it again with the solutions. Okay. This step involves creating innovative solutions based on the fundamental truths identified in the previous step. So the last step, which is the main question you need to understand, how can we reconstruct a solution by using basic elements? Basic element, what we mean by that? Basic element means whatever the solution you already have. within your organization, whatever the raw material, if it is something related to manufacturing or if it's something related to service, what are the service you already have to solve this issue? You need to identify, you know your organization in a better way, not other person who is actually helping you to solve this issue. No, you are the one who is going to solve this issue, right? So this is how we are going to use our first principle thinking. And these are the basic core questions you need to ask, you need to understand. Now, again, what is the main by traditional thinking? Okay, so in the recent year, you can see there are many examples where all these renowned business professionals, they are using this first principle thinking rather than traditional thinking. And why? There is a reason behind it. Traditional thinking is not a bad one, but it's also not giving you an opportunity to innovate or being creative. Okay, so in traditional method, let me go through it. So in the traditional method refers to the way of approaching problems and decision making that relies on the established norms, prior knowledge and existing framework in a conventional way. It often based on assumptions, patterns and solutions that have been proven work in the past. It focuses on the incremental improvements and often follows the linear progression. So there is very less opportunity to innovate something new or being creative. Okay, but traditional thinking, most of the cases it always works. Why? Because it's already having the predefined framework. Okay, you need to follow that framework. You have all the existing knowledge, you have all the existing experienced person who can guide you through the project, who can help you throughout the project duration or project lifecycle. Okay, but there is a very less chance of improving. Okay, because we don't want to take risk, and sometimes we are happy with that by agile, and we know that in each and every step we just need to add some values to the final product, and in that way we can change, and we are we are comfortable with this method. So this is how about what about the traditional thinking. But there are some challenges in case of traditional thinking. What are the challenges? Like limited innovation, as I already mentioned. Traditional thinking will not give you opportunity for innovation. Maybe there will be some slightly changes. Suppose if you are working on a product life cycle and you are working in a software industry or any other industry, and you want to create something innovative product, and maybe it's something different which is already exists in the market. But if you are following the traditional way of thinking method, then there is a very less chance, or there is least chance of innovation, because you will not take any risk to create something different, you know. And also there is over reliance on assumptions, because you already have a goal set of assumptions, and over reliance on it, because you keep thinking, okay, my goal is to achieve this particular level of product or this kind of product at the end. So you will definitely not going to take any risk in that case. So this is one of the limitation or challenge. Inflexibility in and resistance to the change, obviously. For example, if you are dealing with the stakeholders or high management in your organization, they will not allow you to change immediately. That means change management will be difficult in this case. And if that is the case, then the traditional way of thinking cannot be an option, because it will be a challenge for you. And this is the biggest problem which you can face, and lack of critical thinking. Obviously, if there is no chance or least chance of innovation, that means you are not going to use your brain for a lot of research or a lot of thinking. So you just stick to the point which is already there. For example, if you are already having some framework which worked in the past, you want to stay in that zone. You are not going to take any different step to achieve something different or innovative idea or something. So there will be no innovations. Okay, and the next one will be the tunnel vision. This is something we knew. This is something we know during the driving. For example, when you are driving a car, okay, in a tunnel, so you are not going to see the sights. Your vision will be exactly directed to the front direction. And where there is a chance, you may miss the sights. If something is coming on your both the sides, you will miss this opportunity to look for other sides. Why? Because your vision will be focused on the front direction only. And this is something called tunnel vision. Okay. But in case of traditional thinking, also we will have this tunnel vision. Why? Because we are not thinking broadly. We will be restricted. Is why we call it tunnel vision, which is the biggest challenge if you follow traditional way of thinking. Now, here, I guess till now everyone understand because keynote and workshop, so I can limit the creativity and humor. So now this is the basic difference between these two kind of thinking process.
English department.
Let's move on to the next part. Different stages of first principle thinking. Okay.
English
Now, again, I will come back to the point before starting to get into the different stages of first principle thinking. Always remember, when there is innovation, when there is a creativity, there is always a question, right question, the right type of question you need to ask. That means you have to have experience enough to understand what should be my right question, what kind of question I need to ask myself, what kind of question I need to ask to my superior, what kind of question I need to ask my manager, what kind of question I will get to know whether this question is exactly the right kind of question to solve this problem. Then, if you don't know, then take the guidance from the person who is already having experience. If you still don't get the proper idea, there is one more solution. Break down the question into smaller questions and try to find out the same pinpoint where is the problem lies. Okay, and